these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most...
And this is Because Liberty with Curtis Hart and Chris Bornstead. And in the studio we have the lovely Jeremy Gray, the Wizard.
The Wizard.
Hello.
Yes. So, how are you guys doing this week?
Fantastic. It's been one of those weeks. It's kind of been blah.
What did you do this week?
Well, I went to the coal hearing. Was that, that was some pretty big stuff around here.
Yes, we did go to the coal hearing. What
Yeah,
did you
I
do
was
this
there
week,
with you.
Jeremy?
It's complicated.
It's complicated.
Well,
Just went to the woods, hung out
with who?
with the Canadian hitchhiker, for one.
How did you come across this Canadian hitchhiker?
Well, my buddy dragged him over to my place, and he's like, here, hang on to this Canadian hitchhiker for a while.
What did he want you to do with him?
Just hang out with
Just
him.
hang out.
Just hang out, huh?
So I did. And then he taught me all about Canadian politics.
Oh. Did you talk about Tim Moen?
I don't know who that is.
Well, Tim Moen is the chairman of the Canadian Libertarian Party.
No, he taught me about Justin Trudeau, though.
Oh, Justin Trudeau. What did he have to say about Justin Trudeau? Did he like him?
Yeah, he liked him. He says we should ban guns, and then we shot a bunch of guns around him.
So we will talk about that in much further detail here later when we come back to Jeremy's portion of the podcast. But that's just America. I love that right there. He said we should ban guns, so we naturally shot a bunch of guns around him.
And it was fun.
That's excellent.
We didn't hurt nothing.
Did you guys get him to shoot a gun?
No.
No. Did he even think about it?
No. He was just wanted a sword fight.
Just wanted to say.
What? Could be fun. Did he have any swords?
No, we just...
He just found sticks out in the woods?
Yes.
Well, that could also be quite fun. So, the coal hearing. What did you think about the coal hearing, Chris?
Well, I showed up, and the first thing I saw about the coal hearing was, two large buses in the parking lot that were obviously not from our area.
Yeah, because they weren't Cubs or...
Right, no.
Is it still called Cubs?
No, these were buses. They had a couple of eco buses, where everybody piles on. And they go from eco event to eco event. And then they had, when I left, there was actually one of those big giant tour buses, they'd hired and brought in. But,
I actually got video of. Was that the one I got video of?
I don't know.
Was that another one that I got
I had to
video
leave
of
at 3.
with the people exiting. They were all from Portland.
Right, yeah. But anyway, so, that was the first thing I noticed about the coal hearing. And the second one was I got pictures of the people in the red shirts, their faction pulling all the coal signs and the Millennium signs and leaving all the other ones. So I went to their headquarters station and I showed them the pictures of their people pulling the signs, and they apologized, and they went and talked to those people, and then they put up all the signs again. So that was the second thing I saw there. But
the first thing I noticed when I was there was just the complete lack of originality and color choices for splitting up, the citizens. They had people in red shirts and people in blue shirts. Now, this time they split it up. Like it's usually red is Republican and blue is Democrat. This time I would more than likely guess most of the people that were there that were against the coal were Democrats, more than likely, especially since I saw a lot of them holding Bernie Sanders signs, and they were in the red. So that was different, but just the whole split them up between blue and red is just ingrained in people's minds so much that it's like they can't even come up with a different color pattern. But that doesn't work.
yeah, we all know it never works out for red shirts in the end anyway.
No,
Little Star Trek reference there.
Oh,
red
I don't
shirts.
get Star Trek.
Oh yes, yeah. The red shirt. When they beam down to the planet, he's the one that always dies. Red shirt equals death, immediate loss.
What episode is that?
Every episode.
Yeah.
No, I'm
every
talking
single
about, is that episode 1 or 2?
every
No.
single
This
episode.
isn't Star Wars. So
Star Trek. Every episode, the red shirt goes.
I would
Star
know.
Wars is better than Star Trek.
Here,
I
here.
have to say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying, I watch both, but it never works
I
out good
just
for the
rewatched
red
Star
shirts.
Wars.
Anyway, and we had a whole bunch of them that approached us, to try to prevent, they
Let
try to
the
keep
ram
people
quick
from
thing.
going in and testifying, because we had our big yellow
You
stickers
caught
on.
that that's what they were trying
Well,
to get
sure.
us
I mean,
into,
from the
just
very
to keep on
beginning.
taking up our time?
That's exactly that's political. That's strategy. I mean, come on. And like 3 minutes in, I knew that's what she was doing. It's like, yeah, because nobody's going to change each other's minds there.
So what'd you think about the gentleman that was giving the interview to the documentary crew that was just spitting out malarkey?
Yeah, the guy, they're filming this documentary crew over there, and Curtis and I are sitting there, and Curtis is doing his open carry, so he's showing off his gun, and
showing it off. I was just open carrying.
yeah, open carry, kind of showing it off, concealed carry is hiding it. But
Well, it
anyway,
was concealed. I had a jacket.
I mean, it's
on.
not like
It
you were
was
going,
warm
"Hey,
and
look at me, I have a gun." No, I'm just
I
saying,
took my jacket off. And
you
it
had
was,
your jacket off. But we're sitting there and we're listening to these guys talk about these, giving these interviews, and this guy goes, "Well, you can go next to coal train railroad tracks, where coal runs through, and dip buckets full of coal dust up."
Coal dust, buckets by
He goes,
buckets full.
I don't have any
proof.
I don't have any proof of this, but and then that's Kurt, we just couldn't take any longer. Curtis jumps up and goes, "What are you even talking about?" He just totally interrupted the guy and called him out for using facts that he couldn't back up.
Yeah, which seems reasonable.
I mean, you're filming a documentary. It's supposed to be 100% accurate and truthful.
And here's what I said to him, pretty much was paraphrased, that it's 2016.
Right. You
in
kept
this
wanting
day
him to
and
provide the
age, that
proof.
you would have proof of that you could scoop up a bucket full of coal dust from a train. Right now, if that was a thing, we would see that in today's age. Okay, so if that was a thing, they would have pictures or they would have video. And he was like, "Well, I don't have it on me." I'm like, "Well, it's a good thing you have a cell phone in your pocket." "Well, yeah. Well, it's probably hooked up to the internet. I'm sure you can get it really quickly if it exists."
Now, to be fair, these were older guys, and the older generation, they aren't really up to standard on, just pulling.
Too much older than us.
Well, he's
He was
older
more like
than
your age.
Oh, stop it! He was older than me.
We're old.
Way
now.
older than me.
Yeah, we are pretty old.
Yeah, Anyway, you got him off guard. He couldn't produce the information.
Yeah, I couldn't produce any facts
Right.
once I started asking.
Where
him.
if it would have
then
been us,
he just gave up and abandoned the whole interview.
right? Yeah, he took off, man.
And the documentary crew came and started interviewing me.
So,
and then this lady comes up and she's just like,
first thing she says to Curtis is she just yells it at him too. "Cancer! You're gonna get cancer!" Sorry, but and then starts going, "Well, you're making an emotional argument," and I'm like, "Well, no. You just walked up to my friend and said cancer. You can't get any more emotional than that. Is your argument?" Well, it was great.
And so, then I went ahead and locked my keys in my van for a couple
Oh, you
hours.
did? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I live stream until I couldn't anymore, and then I tried to go get my phone charged and lock my keys.
Did you hear that? He live streamed until he couldn't anymore instead of picking up the phone and calling somebody to come help him get him in his van.
Well, no, I did that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It took a couple hours for somebody to get there?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
I messaged you as soon as you drove off. Dude, you weren't even out of the parking lot yet.
I had to go.
I couldn't wave you down. I'm
My
like,
phone was off.
no, come back.
Oh,
That's what all those
terrible.
messages were. I'm like, hey.
I didn't even get any.
Well, you'd have
I'll
to
have
scroll
to
back
check
a
'em.
while now.
Yeah.
But anyways, I was able to eventually provide testimony.
How long did they give
So
you?
what's the problem?
You get 2
These people came up and claimed there was a bunch of coal dust around and you were going to get cancer.
Yes,
pretty
and they
much.
also claimed that the noise from the train tracks was going to drive us all insane.
Right, yeah.
Which I could tell you from a person that's lived next to train tracks my entire life, it's something you get used to in about the first 6 months.
Yeah, you just don't
And
hear it anymore.
another thing I'd really like to hit on really quickly is this facility is being built in the year 2016. It's not being built in the 50s. It's not being. It's a lot of people's testimony was like, my grandfather died of black lung. Yeah, in 1916. It's 2016. We have these things called respirators now. The government regulates everything to death. So this place is going to be being built top notch. I'm sure green as can be.
Right. That's exactly what I
in
said to that other little
2016, with
lady.
all the regulations we have right now.
That's what I said to the other little lady.
I don't believe that it's going to be as dirty as everybody's claiming to be.
Did anybody stand up and offer any green jobs on the other side? Because, that's what they were trying to convince
They
us
kept
all.
on convincing us that there was green jobs, and when I asked them, like, well, what green jobs are in Cowlitz County applying for permits to build businesses right now?
That's what I said.
And her answer was, well, wind and solar.
Mhm.
And I'm like, wind and solar are part of an industry.
We're talking about
energy industry.
The little old lady that we were
companies.
talking to outside the expo center. We had like a 30-minute conversation with this lady. It could have been longer, but
She had a very interesting point that I'd like to bring up. Part of her story was local currency.
yeah.
She just mentioned it, and just like the words alone like sparked my interest. So I looked it up on the internets a little bit, and we'll be talking about that in a future segment of Because Liberty, because that sounds like maybe a possible solution to some of Cowlitz County's economic woes would be a local currency. I don't know if it's legal. I don't even care. If people want to do it, I don't even care. But
If people want to trade
Federal
for
Reserve
seashells,
love
let
that.
them.
I'm sure the Federal Reserve would love it if we came up with our own local currency. So this has been Because Liberty with Curtis Hart,
And Chris Bornstead.
Chris Bornstead, and Jeremy Gray, and we have been talking to you about the lovely coal terminal that hopefully will be being built here in Cowlitz County. And we never got a chance to talk about Trump. Trump won in Washington State.
Oh, we'll talk about Trump later. Don't
I'm
worry.
sure we'll end up talking about
Fuck
Trump.
We know Trump's your favorite guy. Curtis
And
loves
there
Trump.
we go. False. This has been Because Liberty with Curtis Hart. Have a good night.
Can I cuss on that?